Hi everyone, welcome to another probably shorter episode of Straight Talking. I haven't done one of these for a while, and most people who know me know reason why. It's not been an easy couple of months, in fact quite the opposite, very difficult at times, virtually impossible. But hey, we look on the bright side and we look to the future now, and a lot of things are changing. I'm just looking around the room on what is a gorgeous sunny day, and everywhere I look there are cats curled up sleeping and just enjoying life, and very reminiscent of the fact that whatever life throws our way, we keep our heads down, we keep on going. It has been a massively disappointing couple of months, after putting so much energy and enthusiasm and passion into the music events, for them to be stopped just for a short while, for reasons beyond our control. But hey, we get over that. It hit me hard at the time. I put a hell of a lot into it, in every sense of the word, and I felt very distressed and upset and actually traumatized by what had happened, because I'd given everything to doing this, and it was a massive part of my own rehab. And I guess last couple of months I felt sometimes very close to the edge, and I've put myself into situations where I've given myself something to focus on and get some pleasure out of. One of the things has been my garden. I wouldn't call it a garden, it's a postage stamp size piece of concrete with pots everywhere, and I've planted every square foot of the ground and the fence and the shed and everything else, with anything you can imagine. There's from fruit trees, the vegetables, the climbers, and anything that gives flowers and looks nice. So it's a quiet place to sit and have a quiet beer at the end of the day. In the house, well, finally got stuck into it and making it my own. It's only a small terraced house, and since I moved in it was dark and enclosed and just depressing really, and I never really got out of one room in the house. In fact, I really still do, but it's now very boldly coloured, and the way it suits me. I have my music room, and with all the memories on the wall, or the big posters from the music events and things, and that gives me something to remember and look back on and think, well, yeah, we can do this again, which is why, although it's taken a lot out of me, I guess, I'm really confident that we are going to get a new venue, and we're very close to getting that right now. We've met with the people, we've prepared a draft proposal, floor plans, lighting and sound equipment, drawings, everything really. And the great advantage is, perhaps it was meant to happen, that was one step back, two steps forward now, because this will be a weekly and not monthly fundraising event, and that will mean a huge amount for our campaign. I've got to say thank you to everyone who has supported the campaign. We got a very generous donation from Peter Aldis, our MP, for £500. We're currently just past £1,200 already, which is great, because we haven't really started the serious events yet, and by that I mean, if things go to plan, we're talking about 100 events in the next 2 years. Well, that can raise a lot of money. I've got my book, A Dying of the Light, coming out early next year, which I desperately want to get back onto and start working again on, because it's something I've had to put aside for a few months while I sort out the music, and it's often a reminder to me of how fragile life is, how much things affect you. I went to see some good friends of mine at Sam's Cafe, another one of my safe houses, and I made a mistake coming back of popping into Marks and Spencer's. I thought, let's go and get some sandwiches, had a panic attack and had to get home very quickly. And I think it's one of the things that distresses me a lot at the moment, is that these panic attacks or trivia events are so repetitive and pretty much the days are the same in these last month or two, because I get no sleep at night time, or I can't switch off, or if I do switch off, it's always the bad dreams, the nightmares, the flashbacks. I try and do some things I can in the morning, but usually overwhelmed by the recent events, and come lunchtime, you start feeling sick and dizzy and disorientated, and you only got about 15-20 minutes maximum to go and lay down before you actually crash out, and you'll wake up a few hours later, maybe a lot later, with a heavy migraine and just feeling really vulnerable and awful. And that's a way of life, but for everything that happens, you come to adapt to it, and you learn things that will distract you. It doesn't take it away, and I think that's the thing with mental health disability. And something that was said to me only a week ago, I went to Victoria House to see a representative there, and at the end of the day, they weren't a professional counsellor or psychologist. They were just somebody who does sort of fortnightly updates. And we talked about life and talked about the events of the last couple of weeks, and they said, well, you're looking much better this week. And I thought, well, I haven't changed inside. If anything, it's worse than last week, but it's judging the book by its cover, isn't it? And I'm very reminded of my friend John Durrant, who did a fantastic piece on here last week. It's the bit that's with the logo with the three sort of masks on a black background. I love that. And he talked about the fact that we live behind the masks because we're terrified of taking off the masks because of the way people see us. And that is so true. Mental health disability doesn't change the way we are inside. It doesn't mean we feel less. It doesn't mean we love less. We don't become nasty people, or we don't grow a third leg. Our head doesn't spin around. We're just the way we were inside. Perhaps more vulnerable, anxious, emotional, and the things that we want the most. We want to be wanted, to be respected, to be needed, to be loved. All these sort of things, it's still there, in fact more than ever, but it's still, I don't care what anyone says in the press, it's still a taboo subject. If you have a mental health disability, it's a don't touch, it's, you feel like you're a leper. You can't catch mental health disability. It's not contagious. It's not detrimental to other people's health. We're just individual people with so much to give and wanting so much out of life. And John said, sometimes the isolation and this immense pain inside from being separated from the world, by being alone, by not being able to talk. In fact, the only people that really understand what we're going through are those that also have any form of mental health disability. And I think social media doesn't do us any favours. I think for all the positives with the press and social media and the way people adapt to news story nowadays, I think it's become a very shallow world. I think the world has become very much motivated on self-image, sudden and quick success, now want it now, and me, and not caring about other people. And I wonder, how long that sort of media can sustain itself. It's not real, it is fake. And sometimes I fear what's going to come out of this current generation if that's the world they're building their lives on. I guess when you look at mental health disability and the stories behind it, you can say, well, hell, we lived a real life. We went through absolute hell. Whatever we've been through in life and been affected by, it was reality. And the generation before us, what they went through was 100 times worse. And You know, nowadays in a trivial world where it's want it all, want it now, and want, and what have we got, and money and everything else. I don't know. It's just, it's not a community. And I guess one thing I do like about being in Lowestoft, even though it has its ups and downs, there are a lot of us trying to build a community again. One of the things we're doing with the new music venue is creating it very much as a community venue that everyone, and specifically the over 21s, over 25s who don't want to go to a nightclub and listen to current music, can go and enjoy themselves. People with vulnerabilities can go and enjoy themselves. It's managed by people who are aware of any form of disability, who will look after you, who will supervise your environment and respect what you're going through. If and hopefully when, and I should be confident on when this event goes forward, it will be raising money for two very, very important charities. One is a major one for the community, and the other one, of course, we've already started, which is our Back to Life Community Fund for Mental Health Disability, and you know, we've made a good start. I'm thinking back again to how John talked about his life and this thing with the mask, and yeah, you know, it's very striking, the two sides of the story. I remember the track by Smokey Robinson, Tears of a Clown. Or, you know, it's all about the inside and the outside and how life is. You know, people shouldn't fear you or run away from you or disown you or distance themselves from you when you're down, when you're not well, or when you're desperate, or when you really are, you know, on the edge, when you need people the most. And I think with any form of mental health disability, you do find out who your friends are, who your real friends are, who to trust, who to believe in. I think a mental health disability amplifies all the things that affect your emotions, your experiences, the way you react to everything and anything. The triggers can be, you know, noise, sensitivity, witnessing an event, experiencing a flashback, being in an enclosed environment. It can be a number of things, but when these things trigger, you don't have any control. You need someone to lean on, and you need people around you. It's not something that is slow to develop as well. Sometimes when you have a crash, it can be very, very quick. It can be very devastating, and as I often say, it's like falling down into a deep black hole where you can't see the bottom. You don't know how far you're going to fall, and the fear is that if you do hit bottom, there's no coming back. So you always grab on to everything on the sides of the walls to hold on and to slow your fall. And yeah, it's not nice, but I think I'm looking back now, it's been 7 years since I first really fell ill. It's been 10 years since I was diagnosed with depression. It was 2012, I came home with severe post-traumatic stress disorder. The events of the following years led that to worsen, and now it's what they call complex PTSD, where there's numerous events affecting it. I have got coping mechanisms, you know, things I do in the house, things I do in the garden, things I do in my music. They help me to cope. I have things that are my dreams, my ambitions, my hopes, where I want to help others. And these are my aspirations, these are the goals for my rehab and to help others, that not only keeps me alive, but keeps me motivated and moving forward. And on the other side of that, there are the times where there is no control. Things spiral completely out of control. Just it's too much to bear, and you have nights where you not only crash, but you think about ending it. You want to end it, and it's times like that. If the pain is too much, where you feel like you're literally screaming at the walls, and yeah, you drown it. You're normally with alcohol. You do anything like that because it numbs the pain. It suppresses to some extent the bad thoughts, and I guess I'm no longer afraid to reach out for help when I get in that situation. As I say, we're not bad people, we're not desperate people, we're just damaged on the inside, and we learn not to be ashamed or embarrassed or fearing what others may think. In fact, quite the opposite now. If someone thinks bad of me because I'm damaged on the inside, I'll walk away. I pick and choose friends who are important to me and who I'm important to. It's a two-way thing. There's a lot of people who often speak out and say, hey, we're walking alongside you, we're part of this journey, and those few words mean so much to me, really does. There have been so many people in life that have promised me the world and never done a thing. There have been those that promised the world and took advantage and then walked away, and of course there are always those that will seek to gain or be malicious or spiteful or just not very nice people. I said it's going to be a short one today. Look, and I see I've already been talking about 16 minutes. It's crazy, really. You'll probably notice that on my various pages sometimes, I still share my living with PTSD stories every few days on my campaign page. I try and update the fundraising page, the Back to Life page. We're asking at the moment for everyone and anyone to donate CDs, vinyl records, vinyl albums, DVDs, things like that. If you don't want them, donate them to us. We have a professional buyer who will buy everything off us at a fair price. We put that money straight into the fund, and it's a good way of raising funds. You can still make donations via our Virgin Giving Money account. I really don't care if you only donate £1 or £2, it all helps. It's about making the difference. It's about getting off the fence, not peeking over and seeing what it's all about, or actually thinking, oh, it's okay, there's plenty of other people there do it. You have to be brave, you have to get dirty and get involved and ignore the mud and just dive in and help. It's bad enough for us trying to do it if we don't get the support. And to be quite honest, and not getting political, but with the lack of support we get from the government, in fact quite the opposite, the way we get downtrodden by the government and the way we get treated by the DWP and disability in general, it's disgusting, it's a disgrace, it's an abuse of human rights. And when the United Nations states it is an abuse of human rights and states cases, it proves the point. We've got to stand together, we've got to work together. I think we've got a great opportunity in this region, thanks to the help of the Loss of Mental Health Conference, of highlighting all the aspects of mental health, to make a difference, to start something, to move forward. And I'm hoping the music events will make a big difference, when it gets going. There's a lot up in the air at the moment, just waiting final decisions, but it's looking very good. And if someone was saying to me, how do you feel? I'd say 99% sure it's going to be a certainty, and that by July we'll have started, because we have to allow time for publicity and promotion. That has to be done properly. All the lighting and sound equipment has to be installed, and there's a lot of work to do, but we always get it right next time, or the next time, or the next time, but at least we keep on trying. It's better be trying than be dying, as they say. Well, it's gorgeous out there. I don't want to keep you listening to me all day. I just wanted to share something of a more upbeat moment. Just talk about mental health. We aren't going to get better all overnight, and I don't think actually it's something that you ever do fully recover from. The scars remain. We've all been in battles, but just because you can't see the scars, we feel them. It exists, and the more people that believe in mental health disability and the damage it does, the sooner people begin to understand and start helping. For me, sharing my story is my way of raising awareness. I'm not ashamed of what I've been through. I'm proud of what I've achieved in life, and that's what I want to write about in the book. All the good things up to the final major trigger events, which was finally Kenya, what happened in the last 5 years, and the way forward, and the positives at the end of that. And I thank everyone for their support, my close friends, family, people who've really cared. There's so many I could name. In fact, we've got a really good localised group now. We've got people like Dawn Tomlin, Robert Fairclough, Rosalind Boyce, Kinsey Foster, Paula Johnson, so many more, all people affected by mental health disability in some way or another. And we talk about everything, share everything, and we bounce ideas off each other, and we're also all helping together on this new project, which is great. I'm really pleased to see the changes in the Lowestoft group Better Together, which now being governed by people like our local Mind and Todd Sullivan, and a good administrative group. It's moving forward in leaps and bounds, which is what we need. There's so much more to do, and I hope that this time next year we're not only celebrating a year of fantastic and successful music events, but we're talking maybe about being 2 months away from an all-day music festival that we can all enjoy in the community. There's so much more, but I'm still here, I'm still fighting. I still admire and respect the likes of people like John Durrant, Todd Sullivan, who stand up to be counted, will talk about mental health and are pushing for change. We've got a great team at Mind at Great Yarmouth and Waveney now who are very passionate about change, and I think this is still the way forward. Involved in the community, working with the community, raising awareness. Let's just talk about it. Don't walk away from someone who has any form of mental health disability. They're good people, inside and out. I think one of the most key things John, myself, others have really talked about and feel the most is that this is a very isolating illness. Life these last few years have probably been the loneliest I have ever known in my entire life. When I'm on stage working, doing music events, I love DJing, I love entertaining people. I give 550% towards trying to give people the best show I can. But still, it's just me, one person behind the stage, and at the end of the night everyone goes home and it still remains me, the one man behind the stage, reflecting on everyone having a good time, which is great, but still going back to an empty household. I still have the cats, but you want to have someone in your life who understands you, who cares about you, who loves you, who supports you, and gives you that feedback, that real, understanding and respect. To share things with one other person is so important. And I think that during dark times, the isolation and loneliness is what hurts the most inside. Now, I know from talking to John and others that it's something that we all feel, that this thing about life has to be perfect, and we have to be seen visually to be perfect, and social media has a huge part to play in that. Fake news. It's time for change, it really is. Start seeing the real people, and this social media, Facebook, things like that has to change. It needs to respect and understand and care and project reality, and embrace it, because if it doesn't, then how can the rest of the world? But anyway, I think we've done well today. We've kept it down to 25 minutes rather than 30. Thanks for listening to me ramble today. It's been good to talk to you. Do follow me on my pages if you get the chance. My general chat pages on Facebook is Editorial Spark. I have my author campaign page, The Alternative Author. We have the Saturday gigs for our music, and of course Back to Life is our fundraising page. But as John said, don't be afraid to talk about mental health disability. Don't be afraid to talk to someone who has mental health disability. And I've had one or two recently said, we were afraid to talk to you. Why? I'm still me. I'm not an alien. I don't think I am. I haven't got green skin under here and blue blood, and that's life, eh? Let's just keep on smiling, keep on working together, and see what the future holds. Have a great weekend, everyone. Okay, thank you. Bye for now.